can also just simply say, like, look, it sounds like this is really important to you. Just acknowledgement that you've read or you've seen it too. Like, hey, I've seen that bouncing around on TikTok as well, on the news, on TikTok. And so it sounds like it's really important to you. And I've seen it enough that, like, look, but here's the reality. Almost all of these things that kind of bubble up, almost all of them are mistakes to invest in.
Right.
And I just don't know yet. And it comes back to a principle. I think it's always important to come, like, I'm actually not making a claim that the internet or that Amazon's a bad idea. I don't know, right? And so we can insert now. I'm not making a claim that Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, that there's not something there. In fact, I would be tempted at that point to say, in fact, it kind of looks like there is something there, but I don't know. And so just believe me that we're kind of, and I also don't think you've hired us for that. Because the principle that we want to come back to is diversification, right? And protecting and you meeting your goals. And last time we talked, you told me that you wanted to spend time outside with your family and servicing your community and your church. And then we built that portfolio. Like, it's the same scary markets conversation. It's just called greedy markets conversation, right? Like, we just pull you back and then we say, look, but I want you to know that this is part of our job. Like, we think about emerging things and ideas. And we're not always no. Like, if things change, we're completely okay with making a change. And you'll be among the first to know, right? And don't hesitate. I want you to feel like I'm a sounding board. Call me. Let's talk about it. Because I've lost clients because I didn't do that. It's just purely just acknowledge and empathy. And, like, I understand why you might be interested in that. And we don't know, and I don't think it's why I hired you. And back to, purpose, goals, portfolio, you're in the right place. If it's okay with you, this is my favorite line. If it's okay with you, what if we just stick with what we have for now, and we keep this on the sort of list of things that kind of bubble up? And I love that if it's okay with you. Like, and I also, in that same sentence, I love to use, I would have no problem with. If it's okay with you, I'd have no problem just sort of staying with what we've got now, sticking with the plan that we built. And then knowing that we're thinking about this, that if it's okay with you, I'd have no problem, returns a little bit of a sense of control to the client. Yeah. And then that sets you up too for the later discussion of, like, hey, remember when we talked about this a couple months ago or a year ago or whatever? So that's how it's so much different than the way I used to do it, which was much more, and I love Nick Murray, but it was much more just like Nick Murray-ish. And he, like, that may work for people, and please, if it works for you, keep doing it. I'm just saying, for many of us, it works a little better to just have a little bit of empathy, greet with empathy, return to the plan, greet with empathy, return to the plan. It's like, greet with empathy, describe the process, return to the plan. Greetings, Carl here. The clip you just watched is from the podcast that I do with my good friend Michael Kitces, which we creatively call Kitces and Carl. And one of the things we talk a lot about there is the craft of advice. What it means for real financial advisors just like you to practice the craft of advice. And if you liked what you heard there, you would love what I'm doing at the Society of Advice. Because we dive deep into what it takes to practice this craft, right? To learn more about what I'm building at the Society of Advice, just click the link below. See you there.